Namaste and welcome to my channel. Today we will discuss the case of Navalny. There's breaking information pertaining his poisoning. It's an interesting research that has been done. As everybody aware, Navalny was poisoned last month and he was transported to charity clinic in Germany for treatment in regards to his poisoning. He originally was treated in the hospital of Omsk and then transferred 2 days after to the German clinic. However, let's discuss something prior to all of this, when he actually boarded his plane and what happened on the plane. Originally, he changed his flight because he was supposed to leave a day before, but he decided to stay an extra day in Tomsk. Then he boarded the flight the following day. Then during the flight, he got ill. But this is where the details get interesting. At 2:21, dispatch makes an emergency call stating that they need an emergency landing because a passenger on board is ill and requires immediate medical attention due to alleged poisoning. The name of Navalny was not given to the emergency personnel when the dispatch made this call. There was also wrong information provided because it was stated that it was a 35-year-old white male, and in reality, Navalny is over 40. So that information over dispatch radio, nobody would have known it would have been Navalny that got sick. But this is what gets very interesting. Immediately at 2:25, the first call comes in to Omsk stating that there's a bomb in Omsk airport. Second call of this nature comes exactly at 2:30, claiming that there is a bomb. So there's two calls made like that. So who would benefit from such? Someone who made that call clearly knew that the airport would be evacuated. And they had falsely believed that if they had an airport evacuated, the airplane would not land. But it is not true. In emergency situations, the pilot will still land the airport. There's only few cases when the plane would be denied landing. They would still land. They might not enter the airport after as far as who is on board, and the procedures might have to be tweaked based on what's happening. But at the same time, the airplane would land. So whoever made that call, hoping that Navalny would die in flight because he won't get enough time to get medical care immediately, was actually either not very prepared or seriously had flawed plan. Because if it is a state actor, and if it is Kremlin, hypothetically speaking, because there's a lot of allegations with that, especially since Germany released testing saying that Navalny was poisoned with something similar to Novichok. But does anybody not think it could have been even possibly double poisoning? And this is where it gets even more interesting in all these discussions. If it was intelligence or FSB or any type of state actors or the Kremlin, once they know if they made false bomb calls that the airplane would land regardless, so Navalny would live. And if the goal was to poison him to make sure he died on air without getting proper medical care, wouldn't you think that one would do a better job? I mean, instead of having such a faux pas happening. Also, additionally, it is possible that it is even a double poisoning, because think about it from this way. It's highly likely and even possible there was some type of nerve agent present, but Navalny changed the flight. And also, given the substance that it had slow release, because obviously it did not happen immediately and no one else around him got ill, so it had to be something that's slow acting. So could it be that the first he was given a slow acting substance of some type of nerve agent, and then before his flight, somehow somebody entered his hotel room and gave him a high dose of insulin somehow? Because if, for example, you've been drinking 2 days before, and he admits he was, nothing wrong, he wasn't having any type of severe drinking or anything like that, but regular, let's say, casual drink. And then you had insulin within 48 hours, what would happen? The person would possibly go into hypoglycemic coma. So that could be a double thing. First, he had a nerve agent in his system, then he could have been given that to make sure, because the flight changes, because if somebody was poisoned him 48 hours and they did not know he changed his plans, because he changed his plans very rapidly, so there might have not been time to do that, because if it was pre-planned activity, they would have needed to poison him on the first flight that he was supposed to get in before that. So that would have had to be in a hotel the night before. It would have not been an emergency situation where, okay, well, let's poison him now, because that would have had to be planned and controlled. Nobody does those activities on the whim. Yes, possibly there's opportunities, but in this case, also, someone had to have good knowledge of flight radars. And flight radar shows online the movement and trajectory of the plane. So somebody would know the plane turned around and they were going to go to Omsk airport for landing because the flight trajectory suddenly was changed. So somebody would have had to be watching flight radars. But at the same time, flight radars are available everywhere. So it's not new. It's not like if somebody is really going to pull that kind of operations, they wouldn't know how flight radars operate. Even now, you can log in, Google certain sites, and you can get a flight radar. Majority of flights happening on air right now in US, Canada, Europe, Asia. So that's not anything out of the norm. But at the same time, as I said, someone would have had to pay attention. Even though Russia is trying to point the finger, saying it was somebody within Navalny's crew that could have possibly did that. But at the same time, it could have been possible that someone from the Navalny crew accidentally provided that information about flight change, or even contacted somebody else they knew, letting them know that the flight was changed and Navalny was given additional dose, causing the reaction of pancreatitis and everything else that occurred that Russian doctors stated. I'm not saying that this information is correct as far as like what exactly could it be double poisoning. This is of course a speculation. But the information about radars, the timing of the calls that were made 5 minutes apart, the timing, and when request was done in regards to emergency landing, all this is accurate, provable information. That information actually came from Dr. Sosnovsky. He is the one who was able to obtain that log. And I want to give that credit for the log. But everything else after, look at how it's coming apart. Also then, everybody knows now, and I will put a link to my other video I've done previously, that the bottle that was, and the video that was released by Navalny team, how they were packing it after they found out and were able to get to Navalny's room that he checked out from, I'll post that video. So that's why there's highly possibility the bottle could have even had all that, but that bottle could have been from 2 days ago. And there was like a double poisoning almost, because it was almost had to be scenario replayed. He didn't board one flight, another flight, so someone could have gave him two substances, that's what I'm saying. And depending how slow releasing the first one was, because again, as I pointed out, if the first one, slow releasing one, was given to him 2 days prior because he was supposed to get on a flight the following day and he didn't, wouldn't he be severely ill by then in his hotel room? It wouldn't take 48 hours. So changing flights, and again, and he only notified about flight changes almost the morning he was supposed to take that flight. So it was very urgent, very sudden change. It was not pre-planned, it wasn't even a couple of days ago. So it seems to point out there's other factors involved. I would love to know what everybody thinks. Please subscribe to my channel, click like. You can also read my articles under Kristina Kitova, communalnews.com, and please let me know what you think. Is there any other facts that you think that are out there? Is there any other news you would like to discuss? Would love to hear back from you. And thank you for watching. Thanks again. Bye for now.